Good to have you once again.
Thank you so much for having
So,
me.
the question I have in mind to ask you today is, looking at this, looking at that generation, like the Gen Z generation, what do you have to say concerning that generation?
Gen Z, Generation Z. In my own opinion, that generation is a generation that are exposed to two things. Number one is information. Number two is resources. They have access to these two things, and because of their exposure to these things, it drives them fast.
Okay.
That's why they are smarter, they are faster, they are quicker. They achieve things faster than our parents or even some of us achieve in life.
That's true, because
Yes.
I think during our time, people be like hard work, hard work, hard work. But of recent we like smart work.
These
smart
guys work smart.
Yeah, they'll be telling you we don't need hard work, we need smart work.
Yes, you see, some of them don't want to get into hard things. It has a positive side, it has a negative side. So those hard things, their avoidance of hard things make them begin to think smartly. That generation, oh my goodness, they begin to think smartly. And that's why you'll be amazed when you see somebody at that age achieving that kind of result. You know why? Access to information, access to resources. It was not so in our time. Before, look at, for instance, school, academics. Before you can get any kind of higher information ahead of your mates, you need to go to the library.
You need to
But
search,
now,
search.
you need to search. Ask elders question now. At a click, at a search button, they have access to AI. Can you imagine? Imagine AI was there when you got into school. Imagine AI was there when our parents got into school. They would have been 10 times wealthier than they were, because the efforts they put to get the kind of wealth or achieve the kind of result they achieve now. This generation don't need to put that much effort, just the kind of information and resources they have. They will get it times 10.
That's true.
Look at finance, currency. Look at the coming of Bitcoin and the explosion of Bitcoin in 2020. It was the Gen Zs that maximized that thing even more. Bitcoin.
That's true.
You see how things were shifting. Who talked about Bitcoin in the 1990s, in the 1980s, in the 1970s? Nobody talked about that kind of thing before. But this generation were able to be born at a time as this. So for me, that generation, Gen Z, are a gifted generation. They're a blessed generation. They need to understand how to maximize that information and resources that have been exposed to them. Now, there are other information, knowledge that they have been exposed to that they are not supposed to be exposed to.
Yes.
It is forbidden for their age range. Okay, before I even get into that, look at their biology. You see some of them looking taller, bigger, more huge than their age. They look older than their age. You know what is causing that? Because of the age where we are in now, there are things like GMOs, genetically modified organisms, right? There are things that have been modified. For instance, one of the challenges of the Gen Z is their attention span. Another challenge of the Gen Z, they want everything fast food, fast internet. We can't be patient. Let's not stay. Why are we waiting? Let's move.
That's true. This thing you are saying, those days on Facebook, YouTube, all those social media, you discover that people post long content. But before you start hearing short
because
reels, people don't really have time to.
It was because of them. Their attention span is as short as a bit. If you are not making any sense in 3 seconds, they are off your face.
That's true.
Yes, that's how they are. But you need time to really understand someone. So even in relationship, that thing got into relationship. Once somebody is not giving them what they expect, they can't be patient with growth, because growth takes time. That's why they want everything quick, everything fast, everything now. So the Gen Z have this advantage, but then some of them are drifting into the disadvantage. Let me now tell you, when somebody grows up in our time, those days, they tell you the process of growth: get into school, get a job, and wait for certain years to start paying a certain amount, then you can rent a house and maybe buy a car. or the company gives you a car. Those people that build houses are in their 60s, their 50s. Now you see a 20-something-year-old person building house. This is that thing. That's the advantage of that their attention span or their impatience. Especially, I'm talking about those who are doing it the right way. Because there are those who are going off, doing
That's
anything. You don't do anything to make money at the expense of people's life, at the expense of your health, at the expense of your own life, at the expense of other people's peace, just to make money. No, it is not allowed. So because of that thing, it makes them begin to think smart, work smart. How can I get out of this situation? And I like that mindset. It is good to have that Gen Z mindset of, we can't be here for this long. Some of our parents, be patient, and they waited until time passed. Patience is important, but you must be patient doing something that will lead you to somewhere. Let me explain. During the train, there was a time we had train era. Gen Z don't know what I'm talking about. There's this train era where our parents then were working with the train company. And because they're working with train, the time came when the government stopped it. And when they stopped it, our parents also stopped the train move. Some of them remained broke, remained poor for it, as long as the train was not working, functioning. If it's a Gen Z, you stop his train, you won't stop. You can stop the train, you can't stop it a Gen Z's life. You can't stop their pace. They will just leave that thing and look for something that is working and move to it. If they come out of it, they are not, oh, I love that generation. They are not comfortable with stagnation.
They're not satisfied.
They're not satisfied with stagnation. Oh my God, why can I be here? They are moving. But another part of it is there are other aspects of life that needs patience. For instance, marriage, relationship, it needs patience. You need to know each other. You can't know somebody in 3 seconds, sir. You can't know somebody in 3 minutes. Sometimes you can't even know somebody well in 3 months. You need time. That's why patience is important. So there are aspects of life where patience is needed. Even in work, maybe when you lose something and you want something to start working, you don't just jump, just like them. They'll go and plan, think, ask questions, go online, search, and they also check their colleagues who is doing what that interests them. Because one of the issues also with Gen Z that is also advantageous but also has its disadvantage side is their ability for their peers to motivate them. Kai, once they see their peers online dancing, they want to dance. That's now the negative part of it, where they see what their peers is doing and they don't have a benchmark of standards. Because they don't have standards, what is right, where is the limit, where is the boundary, they push it out of boundary. So the Gen Z, that generation is an amazing generation that are blessed and gifted with the brains, the minds, the grit, the body, the information, and the resources at their disposal.
My God.
Yes. I have more to say about them, but so I'm just taking I'm taking it one after the other. The Gen Z.
You know, these Gen Z kind of people, there's something that me I like, because there's a way, like just like you talked about patience now, there's a way those days you patiently wait, like you go to school, you just follow the steps, and but you discover that they, after secondary school, they just want to make it by all means. They don't, telling them about high institution, all those things, that even though they're in high institution, their plan is to just be a billionaire. Meanwhile, those days we are there trying to, serve, learn, and all those things, but they are there and they are already making money.
You see, in our time, you told us education is the key. We finally got the key, opened the door of success, and it was empty. It has been bugged. You see that? Because even many times in Africa, in Nigeria especially, the kind of education they expose us to are outdated information. But this Gen Z, on a click, they are updated. So your school, what is schooling them is the information they are exposed to and the resources they have. That's what is schooling them. Do you see that? Now, when you now tell them to go to school, they'll ask you why. Because if the purpose of going to school is to make money, they don't need school.
That's true.
But the purpose of school is actually to gain character. Let me explain. When you are in your graduation time and they want to confer upon you your honors, bachelor's or whatsoever, they will say this person has been tried, tested or whatsoever in character and in learning. It means you are under tutor for a particular years, and then your character have been tested. This is what is missing in this Gen Z, the character value, the character capital. They can't be trusted. You give them job to do, or you employ them, they can't be trusted. They come late to work. You discipline them, they leave, they walk away. They can easily walk away on you. They don't care who you are. They don't care about consequences. They don't care about future because they think they are living in the future. Do you feel what I'm saying? They don't know that there is something ahead of them that is coming. So you see them correcting elders, and they do it arrogantly. So are you seeing the other part of the Gen Z that is now an extreme? They don't know how to bridle their tongue. They can talk to anybody anyhow. They don't greet elders anymore. Those days, if somebody is older than you by 1 hour, you call him uncle. In the village, you call him uncle. Now, the person can be having gray hair. They will pass you. They don't greet you. They don't care. Maybe because they have a few dollars, a few coins, and a few toys around. You call them cars. And then they have a few followership that view them on social media. So to them, that is value. Value has levels. There is the trust capital, character capital. Are you feeling what I'm saying? Then you come to financial, whatever. Financial is the least in the value chain, but they carry that one and make it the first. And that's why you see that those other ones are looking at those people modeling that kind of lifestyle. I want to leave school, leave apprenticeship, and go and make money. Do you see the dilemma or the issues now with the Gen Z? While they have an advantage, this is the aspect of the disadvantage of a Gen Z. They don't know sexual boundaries. They don't know limits. I'm saying character. This is the place they are lacking. That's why at 13, at 14, at 20, they've done 15 abortions. What in our time, our age mates don't even think about.
It's just like what you are saying now. It's, based on the resources, or let's say the information
exposed.
You discover that, like before, who will give you Android phone?
Mm-hmm.
And those days, even with those small phones, there are many things you cannot do.
Limitations.
But with this Android phone now, you see a child of 5 years, they're already having. I was sitting in one primary school, and then I was surprised that a child in primary 1 telling me that she has a boyfriend. And I was like,
How?
Like,
from where to where?
So meanwhile, you are now,
where did they learn that from now? Do you see that? So this is a generation that is blessed. Yes, their blessing can be a curse if they do not know how to put a balance between my blessing. And you see, freedom is not looseness. You need to differentiate between freedom. I am free to make a move for my destiny to be actualized, but I am not loose to just move anywhere, even though I want to make a move.
This you are saying, there was a time when we went to school. Some persons who thought maybe at home now parents would be like, don't go here. So when they came to school, they were like, I'm free now, I can do anything. So they started doing certain things that you are wondering. You have been free for so many years and you still know your boundaries. But these people just they started like going outside the box.
Yes. You see, discipline starts from home. There is a way our parents disciplined us that a Gen Z parent cannot or does not discipline their children. Those days when they tell us to go and shave our hair, you go and shave and do one kind of thing in your hair, and you come back. Of course, your father or your mom will follow you to that barber and say, shave everything. And you don't like it. Now you see them plaiting their hair. Nobody is talking. It's even the parents that are making those plaiting. You see the young girls wearing things like this at that young age, at age 5. Parents are not doing it. They are not teaching them how to cover their body. Now, when they now grow up with that mindset and seeing their colleagues, their age mates doing the same thing, exposing all part of their body, and then the guys are seeing it, they want to address, they want to approach. Somebody that does not know his left from his right yet, because that thing was not modeled to that generation. So our attempt is to bring their attention to life. There's modeling, because if they continue in the looseness of their freedom, many of them will not reach 40 years, because they will be breaking all the rules that amount to a long life. If you want to live long, there are rules on it. It has to do with health rules. It has to do with interpersonal rules. There's a way you relate with people. You want to succeed. You don't know that once upon a time, one of my lecturers was teaching us then, and he said to us, a boy was in a class and the lecturer stepped in to teach, and the boy mentioned there was a way he did something that angered the lecturer. It was a disrespect. The lecturer smiled at him and didn't do anything. After the lecture, he met him, shook him, what's his name, became his friend until the lecturer collected his matriculation number. You know that number. You know, if they collect your name, it's not really a problem, but if they collect your matriculation number, you have a problem. So the lecturer collected that matriculation number and gave that number to all other of his lecturers of whom that boy was offering their courses. In this lecturer courses, he will make A's and B's. But in those other courses, the guy was failing. He didn't know where his problem was coming from. You see that interpersonal relationship thing I'm talking about? A Gen Z will say, I don't care. Let me go and sort or whatever. Yeah. So he was not going to go and meet those other lecturers where he's failing. Because he's not meeting the main person that is his problem, because he's passing that one's course. He feels he doesn't have a problem with that person, because truly he doesn't even know where his problem was coming. He was one of the lecturers who was failing. So he said, come, what did you do to that lecturer? You have to go and tell him. That's when he knew where his problem was coming from. His mate had gone ahead, he was just repeating. This is how some people have used their mouth, used their ill attitude, used their misbehavior, and cut short their life. That's why I say that generation, many of them, they keep breaking these rules. They will not reach forth. Because even health rules, they break it. Look at the kind of food they eat. Junk. You don't eat junk and live long. Junk food. Look at, you see your I don't want to call brands.
I'm telling you.
I don't want to call brands. They don't have patience to wait for fufu and okra soup. Fast food, instant noodles, instant. It has to be fast. Shawarma and the rest. Name them.
Look, people don't really have time. Like it looks like other things are consuming. They prefer to use that time to be on social media. Like
it's not even social media. It's just fun. It's not even social media.
Yes,
social media is part of
fun,
it.
yes.
It's a generation of fun. Anything
That's
that
true.
does not give them fun or tickle their fancy, they are not part of it. Let us just be having the fun. Well, life is not a fun fair. Excuse me.
You know, if you check that generation, you discover that women no longer want to even cook. No longer even. It
I'm
now
saying.
look like everybody is just eating fast
Fast food.
I know before that if you go to a fast joint, you discover that you hardly find a woman there like ladies.
Mhm.
You always find men.
Mhm.
But these days you discover that ladies are the people that are
They're patronizing fast foods more.
Yes.
Patronizing it is because even the ladies that are supposed to learn how to cook are the ones going to buy food to cook. Gen Z. When they now get married,
like buy
their
food to
husband,
eat.
buy food to eat.
Yes.
When they now get married, the husband say, we're supposed to cook. No, let's buy food outside. Who's going to pay for that? You see that thing? Now, if you look at health laws, I've mentioned what they consume. Many of those chemicals, many of those things they eat, they take, you just hear a gas will come out. Those gases, when they enter the body, they don't leave. They stay there. They begin to help them in aging fast. That's why some of them, they are looking older than their age. Some of them are exposed to sexual immorality that are beyond your imagination. That's why they are aging fast. Are you seeing what I'm saying? Some of them, the kind of infection they've contacted because of multiple sexual partners, they are smelling. They are damaging some of the things inside them. Some of them don't even know that they're supposed to be drinking enough water. Go and see many people packed in some hospitals now. Water is one of the issues that's packing their kidney. Apart from that kidney, water, lack of drinking enough water. You know what's packing their kidney? Sexual enhancers and aphrodisiac. They want you to prove to the babes that they are man enough. So they take enhancers, and that thing begins to make them pack. Go and see them there in the hospitals, packed guys, packed there. Do you know how much it takes to take care of, to even do dialysis? Do you even know what it takes to get one and replace it? When they say two are packed, where will you get that one from? Health law. I say some of them, let me repeat what I say. It's not a bad news. It's because they are breaking laws. Some of them will not reach 40 if they continue in the looseness of their freedom. I'm calling it the looseness of their freedom because they have this freedom, but then they are moving into looseness. Looseness is unguarded freedom, freedom without values, without virtues, without character. That's looseness. In the Bible, it's called lasciviousness. Looseness with your mouth, looseness with your emotion. Oh, talking about emotion. Let me talk about that, their emotional imbalances, emotional trauma. Time will come, many of them will be taking their own lives. They don't even know how to manage their emotion,
Yeah,
whether positive and negative emotion.
This you are saying because I discovered that like during our time, maybe based on the hardship or let's say some of the suffering were like yes. So I think those things made us to come to a point where certain things don't really move us.
We now became tough.
Yes, because
Not me.
somebody
Tough.
told me one time, say something that my dad usually say those things. He will say that something that a chicken, like if I will see and be shouting, go to sleep and just and pass. So that is the major thing. Those who like many a times little
Pressure.
little pressure. You now see them do not act as if
It's
the
a
whole,
dead
like,
end.
I will be like, this thing you are going through. Go and check the other people that have passed through and they didn't even
Did you see anything?
it didn't even look like they passed through anything. And somebody will now react to it somehow. Some of them they will think that the suffering is more, so they decide to go and take another life. I don't know where it gets.
See, when they begin to even get into the suffering and they are into problems and crying, many of them you won't know. Do you know the ones that are being pushed and being seen? Those ones that are living the flashy life. Now, it brings me to somewhere. The Gen Zs don't know how to keep secret. You can easily track them from their status, watching their status, and go and do harm to them without them even telling you, without them chatting you, without them informing you. We outside, we here, you know where they are at the particular time. They don't know. You see their marriage, whatever, it's everywhere. There are things that is not for the public. I said they don't have character, they don't have values, they don't even know boundaries. There are things that are not for public, they're for secrets. You keep them within you. You keep them to yourself. Your family, your children, your wife, your financial status, what you are buying, houses, or whatever, is secret life. It's not for public, but they want to bring it and show. And because of that thing now, they are making others look like they are not trying.
That's true.
And those ones that feel that they're not trying want to now go the extreme and get money by all means. You don't get money by all means. You get money by the principles of finances. Because when you go to all means, you can unalive somebody. You can do it at the detriment of even your own life. You see that? So they don't have secrets. Now you're talking about pressure, little pressure and all that. To them, pressure is a final state. To them, pressure is the end of their life. They don't know that pressure is part of life. They just came and they're just doing like. They don't know that your parents, our parents, while we were growing up, we'll be talking, they don't know, our parents don't want to allow us.
They don't want to do this.
You see your parents quiet. When I began to grow older, I began to learn why they are quiet. I used to come outside at my door and sit down. I'll just sit down and be reasoning things. It's now understood when my father used to come outside and sit down like that. There are things that hit a man that even wife cannot help. I've been lying on the same bed and you know what a man is going through. You'll be going through an internal tsunami and yet it's lying next to you. You wouldn't know. You just come and sit down. So the older they get, they begin to get quiet. Let me say something and drop it here. I heard it from a preacher. He said, when we are young, we look like our parents. When we grow old, we look like our decisions.
That's true. In life, every decision will determine where you will be in life.
And decisions must be made by information. And information must be guided. Oh my God. Did you hear what I said? Decision must be made by information, but not all information must be taken as a decision. It must be guided. Just because you are exposed to resources and information doesn't mean you should take decisions. You must be guided to know which decision should I take now. When you are cooking food, of course, I want to believe that when you want to cook jollof rice, you don't just come, put the rice, put maggi, put salt. You won't wait for anything to boil. No. Wisdom is, I know how to cook this. That's knowledge. I know how to cook that, right? Wisdom is now the knowledge of when to what. Understanding is knowing it is time to remove this thing. You see how this thing works? So just having knowledge is not enough. You must have wisdom and understanding. So your decision must be done by information, but information must be done by guidance. Somebody must guide. Hey, this is the way. Walk in it.
There are a lot of information flying through the internet. And then if you don't know how, because some information they are for an appointed time.
Yes.
So if you don't know how to work in this, guidance that you're talking about, I think that's why many people see that they misuse information. Because And meanwhile, information was supposed to be power.
Mhm.
But the way these Gen Z are using the information, it now look like the information is like, let's say, something like a bomb blast or something like that.
Thank you. You just hit me on something. You said information is power, and the way they use it becomes like a bomb blast. You can have power and implode. You can hold a bomb, information,
That's
and implode and kill yourself. You must know where to go and drop the bomb on the enemy, not on yourself.
You know, it's not even enough to have power,
It's not enough to have power.
because power can destroy you. You know, those days, even in our churches, they'll be like, say people are shouting Holy Ghost fire, and sometimes the same Holy Ghost fire are shouting can also destroy you.
Become a
Yes.
destruction.
So I see power as, first of all, you that is looking for power, or you that you have power, you first of all look at the wire that is, you know, because if you look at the electrical aspect now, you discover that
Insulators.
based on the kind of
Okay.
power, or based on what you want to use that power for,
It determines the
wire and those
thickness of the
hair.
cable.
Yeah, those cable and everything. Even we are using, there was those days when we go to classes, some people just buy anyhow extension, and then based on our school now, when we go to those classes, everybody be plugging their laptops. So if your extension is not strong enough, you can't plug from the source. But when you plug from the source, the next thing is that the extension will explode.
Mhm.
So you can have power, or you can be giving out power, but because you are not guided, the same power can explode you. Just like those extensions now, if they are guided on how, just like you talk about wisdom, man, they are guided now. You know that this kind of extension that I hold, this kind of power that I have, I will not plug directly to the source. And let me
Because of
wait for
guidance.
others to plug, then I'll plug my own. And when you plug, you know what can come on you.
Mhm.
If somebody brings something that is high, that has high voltage, you tell them, no,
No,
don't plug on my
don't.
own socket.
Because now
Because
you are guided.
Yes, it's not like you don't have that power, but you know that this thing that is coming on you can make you explode. So I see that Gen Z generation, that they are this kind of person that the kind of money they are looking for
It's beyond what
is
they can.
beyond what they
They
can
don't have the
handle.
capacity to handle it.
That's why you see they can't hide it. They just have money today. Before you know, you see them looking fat. You see them with
Tattoo
iPhone.
everywhere,
You
then
see
they are
them with some
getting-
kind of motor. But there are some people, when you are guided, money don't really.
Move
You see them, they want to go and stay maybe in one of the best hotels, because they are not guided.
Now, see, you hit me so much that as you were talking, I now found out that the greatest currency a Gen Z needs is not money, it's guidance. See that
That's
generation?
Because
Guidance.
the information
It's everywhere.
is everywhere.
And
All
if
they
you're not
need is
guided-
guidance on
on how to, where to, when to use them. So the greatest information, the greatest asset a Gen Z needs is no money, it's not iPhone, it's not a car, it's guidance. And guidance needs submission. You need to learn to submit to a higher power, a higher authority, or a leader that has gone ahead of you to now teach you the way. You can know the road, but you don't know the way.
That's true.
Oh, the road can lead to a market, but the way can lead you out to the city. The way can lead. You know, the difference between way and road is speed.
Yes.
On the road, you can be speeding. On the way, you have to be guided. You can speed into a dungeon, into a lion's den, because it's a way. So, a Gen Z needs guidance. And the problem I feel is that many of them are either not submitting to guidance because of their arrogance in a way, or there are not enough people guiding that generation. That is why there must be models that will begin to tell them, hey, this is how to run family. We're talking about a lot of a different kind of information everywhere. Do you know that a Gen Z, it's difficult for a Gen Z to marry and stay in marriage because of the kind of information they've been
Do you
exposed
know that
to?
this week alone, I know 3 women. Not that like young, they are changing their names from their father's name, from their husband's name to their father's name. And I was like, what is happening?
Are they married?
They are married, but they want to change their name back. They don't want to, align themselves with that name again.
Where are they learning all these things from?
So I think that guidance was not given. So many times, some people they have tried to see how that this marriage, like, okay, let's see if this marriage will work and all those. So, and they have tried and nothing is working out. So they are like, let's just.
It's not that nothing is working out. What they expect is not what they are seeing.
I think
Because there was no guidance. The kind of information that were in them about marriage is that it's a fun fair. Get the biggest show of your wedding. Let your wedding look glamorous. After that, let pepper them. You know that the language. Clock it. You know, the Gen Z. Let's just moves, dance. How did they put that in? Dance, they cry. Steps, they cry. Those are words. I'm nothing wrong with those things, but come on now, life. That's not what real life is.
you know, a preacher once said that life is warfare. So I think if life is warfare according to them, then everything about life should be warfare. It means if you are in a business place, you know that you are actually
Fight
fighting
to succeed.
If you are married, you know that.
Fight for
Because
marital
I think that
success.
everything you just have to fight for it.
Yes.
Because I think the only time men were not, you know, fighting was just in the garden. But after that time that they sin and fell, I think everything you
Everything
have
was
to
now fine.
Yes,
You have to labor for
you have to labor for it.
But
So,
this is-
but the Gen Z,
Don't want.
they don't want to labor.
Just let it just happen.
They just want things to just happen.
The Gen Z
Like
lady
that.
feels, I just want to marry. I don't want to be cooking for him. Let's just be sleeping with each other, and then I give birth to children, and I'm in the front seat of the car, and he's spraying me money, and we go to. That's the mindset they have. The guy I own is just let money just be coming by any means. They don't understand that the essence of money is not spending; it's investment. It's building structures. It's establishment for the future.
That's true.
They don't think future, they think now is the end of their life. I see many of them will not reach 40 because you see, they have not seen themselves in that place. They have never projected themselves 10 years after now, 20 years after now. What is going to be of my life? What they feel now? It's about now. And I like the way we started this podcast. The advantage and the good side of the Gen Z, but we're not looking at that extreme. The kind of information you consume, if you are not guided, you will go off the mark. So I want to really push this to see how we can reach out to as many Gen Z as we have. Draw them close and say, hey, give yourself to guidance, because that's the greatest asset you will ever have. If you miss it,
You know, and there are a lot of, you know, tools that guide men. So you can look at the Bible, the Quran,
yeah, there are other
you
tools.
know, all the educational
for
tools.
guidance.
But you know, I see that people, the Gen Z no longer want to, you know, study the word. They no longer
It's not
want
that
to.
they don't have the patience. I
They
say
don't
their
have the-
station
like,
span is
They don't want to give themselves to
to
things that edify.
build.
Yes, that
Builds
build.
them.
They look at it that those things takes time. Because this Gen Z don't like that. Like that time is, they want things sharp. So they look at it that all these things takes time. That I don't know that you get the kind of. So they're looking at fast methods. So they want to use fetish method, you know, scam somebody,
Shortcuts.
like different things. Just
Now, you know, you talked about giving themselves to personal development, you know, studying books, Bibles, and the rest of it. Do you know why preachers are preaching? They have sermons in shorts now. Do you know the people that are consuming those shorts? Gen Z.
Gen Zs.
Your life can never go long if what you are watching is short.
Hmm.
Your life can never go long if what you are consuming is short.
You know, sometimes this you are saying, I do go to some of those shots. I go to the comment section, and you see some of our fathers. They'll be like, "Where can we find the full message
full
of this thing?
message.
Where can we find?" But
Gen Zs are
Gen Z,
enough.
The
short is enough. To a Gen Z,
Yeah,
the
but
short is
If
enough.
you see those our generation, like they'll
You
be
want to
like,
the full
"Where
sermon.
can we get the full sermon? Let's sit and, you know, eat this
It's
thing."
this
But the Gen Z just
short.
they don't have time.
Give me the shots. They scroll. They are in the scrolling. Next. I really want. I wish we can go further, but let's stop here so that we can see. This is an amazing conversation, my man.